All right, and hello everyone. This is Michael Condon representing the TooMedToo Star Wars Network, and this is the Holocron House. So I may have been able to set up something that is going to work a little better for me today. You're going to have to let me know how it is camera wise, and if not, maybe I'll go back to the other way. So still just a work in progress. So just, let me know on your end how you think everything is, because if I can get the camera not to fall over 13 times today, I'm going to say it's probably a good day then. And my phone just stopped working, but while I'm trying to figure that out, I am going to say hi to a few people here. We have joining us today to talk about some beautiful art, because art makes you smart. Don't be dumb. We have Rural Farm Boy.
Right sons, friends. Are you already streaming?
I am.
Alrighty, then let me get rid of YouTube on laptop. Alrighty.
I am good and ready to go, because I was running a few minutes late. I had to take Delilah out, and Delilah's, she was being
Particular.
yeah. So,
As little girls are wont to do.
and then we also have joining us again today my buddy Ian.
Oh, I was just chatting with him for a minute in the chat room.
All right.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, Ian?
Just bumming around the house in my underpants. And,
Ain't that all of us?
Yeah, well, not Rural Farm Boy.
No, I get dressed every day.
Yeah, some people.
I actually saw a report the other day that pant sales are down because no, I'm being serious. Like,
I know,
pant sales are down.
I saw a report the other day that
And someone's got their YouTube on or something. Because no, I'm being serious. Oh, that's Ian. I just muted him for a second. Oh no, I got rid of him. He's got their YouTube.
there was a double volume in the background. No, mine's closed.
So. Oh, we have my buddy Chris in here. We don't have any comic books to talk about, but it's still a book.
Chris.
How are you doing today?
Miss Chris?
No, Chris Rains.
Oh, okay. Somebody new to me.
Broaxium.
Ah, Chris Ryans. Is he in the chat?
He said hello. He was here for at least a minute or two.
Where'd he go? Christopher. I was thinking of tagging them boys, but then every time I go tag Christopher, he sees it like 18 hours later, and then he posts up saying just the same thing. Why am I just seeing this now? I'm like, well, you gotta pay attention.
Well, you take Dan a couple weeks ago, and Dan was in and hung out with us for a couple hours, I think it was.
Yep. That's the tricky part. Is when I run the hashtag live chat crew around, is our regular folks we know, our regular friends like Mr. Rez and sometimes Charlie, they can make time for it, but everybody else that I aim to try to get in, you can never tell what they got all going on, whether or not they may be able to or not, even though we're all still shut up inside.
This is true.
Love to get some more of them friends in here. Lots more.
Well, we got a couple people here. We got a couple people watching us on Twitter, and a couple people watching us on
YouTube.
Or I mean on Facebook and YouTube. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I have it on. I'm doing the dual thing now. But I think when I do the septic tank on Saturday night, because that's what.
I saw you called it that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's kind of what it turns into. When we just talk and pretend that there's no one recording us or being live. So.
Yeah, I finished the back half of Back to Tank from Monday night because I stepped out about halfway through it. I had to go finish the rest of it. So yeah, right after Rebel Scum breakfast, I watched the rest of that. And that's why I said I don't want to go and miss Saturday night. I mean, it's some way, come hell or high water, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just not safe for work.
Oh,
and I don't know if Ian left or if I kicked him out. But I'm going to shrink you guys both down, and we're going to get to it.
Yep, to the book. Where'd you leave off at? Oh, all right, props. Gotcha. Yep. This will be fun. Love this kind of stuff.
All right, just fixing that. And all right. So I don't know if I said I got it set up a little bit differently today, so hopefully it actually works, because I'm gonna just have to go on Amazon and buy a book stand or something to put this on, because this is really
a sheet music stand, like what you would see in front of musicians, and like my girls use in band. It's what they put their sheet music up on, and that way you'd be able to take the camera and go dead on straight at it instead of looking down on it.
Yeah.
And they can't be terribly expensive.
I wouldn't think so. But all right, so this is going to be this is session 4. It is brought to you by my patrons. We have on my Patreon, we have Rural Farm Boy, Christina Flores, Mr. Rez, Chris from Kentucky, and Kylo from Kylo Customs. There's a little bit of glare because it's sunlight out today, so
no, that's good.
Try and fix that too. And here we have the props department, and it actually looks like what are they doing? Looks like medical, maybe? No, I don't know. It's something. We'll find out.
That's like a tech shop of sorts.
Okay, reading once again, these sons of bitches. The props department. The first art department meeting for The Rise of Skywalker was held on the morning of October 5th, 2017. 3 teams of deeply experienced film designers and 3 nerve centers, Lucasfilm's San Francisco campus, Bad Robot Santa Monica office, and Lucasfilm's art department at Pinewood Studio, met over video conference with Rick Carter listening in. The artists were updated on what was learned in a meeting with director J.J. Abrams 3 days prior. At the earliest of junctions, the First Order abandoning super weapons in favor of a fleet of array of Star Destroyers, Kylo Ren's new role as Supreme Leader of the First Order, and the possibility of Poe Dameron having a checkered past was discussed. Reference imagery of Sith temples with briefly mentioned as well. This is what the guys on Blast Points were talking about on their latest one that they had. I think it was, I was listening on the way home yesterday, I believe it was. Dozens of concept art pieces of Star Destroyer formations and Kylo Ren's throne room were generated over the week that followed. On October 11th, 2017, the art department reconvened. The full The Rise of Skywalker story, as its current mood, was shared with the 3 teams of artists with the intentions of designing specific imagery of each. Trying to keep that open for you. Make sure you can see that. The traditional Star Wars introductory text crawl resolves with a boom down to a forest where 2 Jedi duel in something akin to fencing gear. The scene shifts to the present day, 6 months to a year after The Last Jedi, where Kylo Ren decimates a warrior gang, akin to Darth Vader cutting through rebels near the conclusion of Rogue One. Acquiring a sacred object, Kylo brings it before the Oracle, envisioned as a large puppeteered creature like Return of the Jedi's Jabba the Hutt. Okay, now, when I saw Kylo going through and fighting what we first thought were the Knights of Ren, and thought that was him turning to the light side, that was a lot of the speculation when it first came out. I didn't really get a Darth Vader at the end of Rogue One scene, because it was just Darth Vader just kind of stood there and destroyed everybody. Kylo was running around fighting. So, I mean, yeah, you kind of have a one on many, but I didn't get that impression at all. Like with the latest Clone Wars episode. When spoiler right here for everybody, because we always do spoilers. If it's on TV, it's good to go. We had Anakin sense Ahsoka going through, and he lets her pass and doesn't say anything, which happened many times in Rebels, but the most prominent one is in Return of the Jedi when Vader senses Luke and the gang and lets them pass instead of destroying them or saying who it was, because he knew part of his plan was to bring them in. But yeah, so those are just those two things right there. And we're going to see, I guess, later on the spider baby head doll creature monstrosity that we've seen some pictures of and talking. So, but I didn't get it all Jabba the Hutt on that, or even a large puppeteered thing. But once again, it's concept art. This was 2 years before. This is a year before the movie started shooting or whatever. So.
Yeah, they're still rough ideas. That's what this book's all about, the ideas that made it. Yep.
When the transition to Poe, Finn, and BB-8 in a new lake. Oh, I'm losing my picture here for y'all. I'm sorry, people. When the transition to Poe, Finn, and BB-8 in a new location, a snowy First Order occupied walled city, the remaining residents meet in a back alley speakeasy with a secret door knock in which Poe represents an Enigma machine of a new form of secure communication. During the meeting, First Order stormtroopers raid the pub, necessitating a hasty retreat through the city's canals. In 1943's film Edge of Darkness, depicting Nazi-occupied Norway and a resistance led by Errol Flynn's Gunnar Brag. Sorry, because I can't speak Norwegian. Concept art images of exotic city were also mentioned as a possible jumping off point for design. Let's see if I can do that. I can rest there. I guess that's all right. There's still a little glare coming from somewhere. I don't know where.
No, it's good. Yeah, there's a teeny bit, but it's not terrible. That's good.
All right. Ultimately, a scene, and you're gonna have to change my pronunciation because I always mess this up because I don't speak Japanese either. Akira Kurosawa.
Yep.
Kurosawa, a 1950. I'm getting it. The other day I couldn't pronounce it at all. I'm getting closer now. A 1958 Jidagaki period drama, whatever that word is, in Japanese, and most likely inspiration for the word Jedi. Oh, okay.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think I ever knew that.
That's the first I heard too. Learned the thing on a Wednesday.
Yeah, Lucas was a big Kurosawa fan.
Oh, absolutely.
You got a lot of stuff from Nick.
The Hidden Fortress, depicting a prisoner revolt on stone steps besides Akazuki Castle High, sloping walls, would be primary influence for the Snow City look. The Hidden Fortress is widely acknowledged as a primary influence on 1977's Star Wars Episode 4 New Hope structure, primarily the story being told from the point of view of two lonely peasants like the droids R2-D2 and C-3PO. Rey's training of General Organa in the forest outside the residence hidden base was described. Within, Rey has a small workshop where she repairs her lightsaber torn asunder in The Last Jedi. Her ass under.
Fanciful way for saying torn apart.
The First Order General Hux flips inside and turns himself to the Resistance. Meanwhile, in a scene mirroring the Resistance gathering in the Snow City, Kylo Ren congregates with warlords in what's described to be a Godfather mob scene. Kylo throws a severed head, hand, or other iconic feature, possibly once belonging to the Oracle, onto the table. Opposite Kylo Ren sits retired Imperial General, described as a Nazi in hiding, the second most powerful person in the room. So that's where we have Who does Mark Hamill play? The guy that.
Bulio.
Okay, Julio, right?
Bulio.
Julio.
B-E-O. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it started out as
Um,
the Oracle and it ended up as him as a resistant spy that got caught. That's neat.
and that's where he's just like, Hux, you little bitch, what's your problem with me?
Yeah, and at the very end that you read, they didn't name him, but you said it was a retired general
Yeah.
that's sitting at the head of the table. That ends up being a Legion General of Pride.
Yep.
That's
Yes,
really
sir.
neat.
Yes, sir.
That's really neat.
All right. And then we have, let's see, briefly mentioned, but without a clear place in the story, is a horse charge with Abrams hoped to depict with real actors on horseback. One of the first images we came up with was a classic Western charge, Terry recalled. I remember reading a New Yorker magazine profile on George Lucas when he was doing the prequels, and he talked about being inspired by the Vietnam War for Endor for episode 6. How a group of people with not much technology at their disposal could defeat the biggest military power in the world. And the spirit informs this the idea of people without the access of technology riding against the empire, coupled with the ideas of dipping into the well of archipel American film. I don't know what that word is.
Archipelago? Does it end
Archipel.
with O?
No, archipel.
Ain't really sure what that is.
Archipel. Yeah, we'll look that up later.
Archetypal. There we go.
There you go. The Western Charge is one of the great American film images. So when we went back to Westerns and Flash Gordon, all of these things we're thinking, what sort of images do we want to capture in this film? Terrio continued, I have these legal pads where I just write wish lists of images, and sometimes those get you into trouble because you find yourself blending story points to try and get those moments. But other times, it's the pursuit vision of the story you've ever heard because you're just like a kid thinking, what do I want to see in the last Star Wars and Skywalker saga? What's feeling right?
Okay.
So, yeah, there's some things in there I would talk about right now, but I
might derail a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As we do.
But okay. Let's see what we have here. Oh, Anthony, calm down. We got some
Rey's blaster breakdown and the Skywalker lightsaber repaired before she puts that leather strap around the middle of the weld. Neat stuff. Yeah.
Oh, let's see if I can get into focus.
Yeah, them's the thoughts that they was thinking how they want to go about showing this after she fixed it.
There you go. So there's the 4 sabers. So get a good look at them. I'm going to tell you all about them.
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
Do tell.
And the blasters. What we got here? All right. So this is just it says Rey sabers. Yeah, we just got race. It just says Rey saber image 1 by Savage, and here's Rey saber number 2. These are the 3 different ones. They don't really have them. I mean, they have them numbered A1, A2, A3, whatever, with the different little design or colorations on them. But Rey saber number 2, when working on the repaired lightsaber, we didn't yet know from the script what resources were available to Rey. So we didn't know how good a job she would be able to do. With that in mind, we explored a number of different repair jobs, ranging from quick and dirty welds to clean panels that would seal 2 halves of the hilt. and that was Savage. And then we have by Jamie Wilkinson. We went through ideas of very crude welding, whatever the equivalent of spot welding would be in Star Wars. But because it was Ray fixing it, it's now got this strap around it. You can see with little elements of welding from where it was ripped apart, and you can see that the buttons have been lowered, so Ray put in new elements as she built it. Basically, the strap is almost like a leg brace that she put around it, and it's riveted through. You're trying to tell a story with the end product, but retain Ray's signature. And then right here we have, I won't be able to get into good enough detail on this right now, the way well, you know what, I don't think it's that important. You got like little blueprints right here of what it is, and this is kind of what they made it into. At one point during Ray's visit to the submerged Death Star, there was going to be a scene where she had to disassemble her blaster in order to dry it out. This was a brilliant opportunity to have a look at the inner workings of a blaster we had designed 5 years previous for The Force Awakens, and that was Savage. And these are just the two pictures of that right here, showing how it would be able to come about. And this is another one that
Is that the blaster Han gave to her?
It is.
It is.
Yeah. All right.
It just says Ray's blaster there. Doesn't, that's the one that Han gave her, because she didn't have one prior to meeting Solo, as our friend Finn called him.
As soon as I saw the body and the grip, I knew which blaster that was.
Okay. And then we go on to the next part, which is pretty cool here. We have, and I'm going to try, I should mark this box where it's sitting, but try and get you a better, closer view of these things right here.
That looks like Albrecht's workbench that he repairs the helmet on.
Move it over here to get rid of the glare. So I'm trying to get rid of the glare. Okay, so yeah, there we have the workbench, and it's not a regular workbench, but there you can see Kylo's helmet. And we have over here, we go in a little bit closer, you can see, although these are regular hands, we don't have ape arms yet. There we go for that.
But they've already changed the Saracen iron from gold to red, so that's neat.
They did. They talked about that, I believe, in the
it's a few pages back.
Last section that we did. But all right. You can see my beautiful legs. I am wearing pants. See, I was joking with you guys. I am actually wearing pants. And you can see my little Millennium Falcon clock right here. I'm gonna drop my headphones. And that actually is pretty much identical to they call it the Bird of Prey, the Han Solo Funko that came out where he's riding in the Millennium Falcon. Delilah, stop here. What are you doing? Don't lick your vagina.
Miss Chris did say in the chat that she saw her, and I missed her. That's where she saw her. She's down there.
Delilah, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I'm being shy now. Look, she was looking at me, and then as soon as I took the camera on her, she turned away because she knows. And if you go to take a picture of her too, even with no flash, she turns away. So she knows what's going on. It's just
Kids.
Don't laugh at her. All right, got a little more reading to. Let me take a little sip of my beverage here. All right, this picture right up here is just Kylo helmet version 2 and version 3. Over here for this one, the one that they show the welding. These two are pretty much similar, I think. It's Kylo Helmet version 4, and this one over here is version Kylo Helmet version 5, or Kylo Helmet 5 version 4. So they're pretty much identical, but they probably just, it looks like they changed the welding a little bit, where it is it's higher up here and lower down there, I think, or maybe just the angle of the helmet. But there's always been medieval theme running through Kylo Ren, from his costume to his broadsword lightsaber. To the end, we knew that repairing of this helmet would take place in Star Wars version of an ironmonger's forge. We tried to design mechanical arms and tools that had 1 foot in the underlying medieval theme and 1 foot firmly in Star Wars universe. So I think that was pretty good. Oh, Scotty, how are you doing, buddy? We got another friend of ours popping in here to say hello.
Which Scotty from whereabouts? Because when you say Scotty, I'm thinking J-Ro.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Morning, Scotty.
Are you having a bomb bad morning today?
You know he is.
Um,
And he's hoping we are.
What was I listening to last night when I was walking Delilah?
You did put up a short playlist. Blah, blah, blah.
Last night, Chatter. They were talking about, they did an episode on Jar Jar, and a lot of mine are a couple days behind because, you know, I listen to, like, when things come out, and it's nothing against anyone personally, but, you know, there's certain ones I listen to the day they come out. I make sure of it, even if I'm going to have a short list. Like today, I know I'm going to listen to, it's Wednesday, so I'm going to listen to Bad Motivators, which I haven't started yet because I checked in with Rebel Scum. And then we'll probably have, it's either today or tomorrow, I think. Spelt Out will come out, so I'll listen to that. And you have Rogue One, which I'll listen to tonight, depending on when they drop it on the train ride home, or, you know, tomorrow morning or whatever it is in the middle of the night. But
Yeah, Josh should be dropping Star Wars Spelled Out in a little while. Yeah, my past couple of days has been a mix of the day of and the day previous, starting pretty much with Sunday.
Well, sometimes, because I use Podbean or BeamPod or whatever it is, but half the time they suck and they don't load new ones. So I have to use Google, but Google erases itself on me every once in a while, so I can't have everything on there. So a lot of them I'm subscribed to twice, but I only listen to them once, obviously. But I'll go to Google and I'll have stuff that's 5 or 6 days old, and I'll listen to 5 or 6 episodes of whatever it is just to get caught up, so I'm only a day or two behind. That's why my list is usually kind of strange, especially now. But I have a little extra time now traveling, so I'm getting a little bit more in there. And then we have Jedi texts. I think for this one, we're going to kind of move this a little bit. And okay, so
hoping they're not going to mention the names like they did in the visual dictionary, because that makes it rougher.
Okay,
just the contents is enough to get over. The names of the different books are really rough.
I mean, you can see here we have Anthony Mont translate all this.
That ain't Narbash, I can tell you that.
Okay.
I don't know what language that is. Well, there's many different written languages and stuff.
Okay, so these books, we have Jedi Text Hero 1, Jedi Text Filler 3, Jedi Text Hero 2, and these are all by Burke. All pretty much just kind of the same thing, just, you know, very similar, showing some graphs and some wayfinders. So we knew about the wayfinders then. Okay, and then we got the next page too. A little more Jedi text. Let's see. And we have training remotes.
Yep.
That's by Savage. Everything else is by Burke. All these other text ones. So let's see if I can get this set back up now for my friends. Looking all right. All right, and then up here, or we just have a quote from Wilkinson. Initially, we only had one book to make pages for, based on what we saw in The Last Jedi. But The Rise of Skywalker, because there are scenes where they flip through 2 or 3 of 9 books, we had to make pages for almost all 9. We just kept adding and adding pages and notes. It's part of the journey and part of the MacGuffin as well, because there's information that Luke has left in his journals. So we added all of these bits and of parchment, notes and overlays, things that people had added over the years, sketches and documents, layers upon layers of information. And you know what? I think if Lucasfilm made these books, people would buy them.
Oh, absolutely, they would.
And
That
I know,
made me think: is that how crazy is that? That out of the 9 books, we might have seen a page or 2 out of, what did she go and look at? 1 or 2, maybe 3 different books, and out of those 3, we saw a page or 2 each. But the other remaining books were filled with pages with stuff like this. What all kind of fun stuff did they go put in there that we've never seen?
and even if it was like this in a fake language that we don't know, people would still buy them, even though they can't read them or do anything. And you know, people would sit there and try and translate what it said. Even it could be just gibberish. It could be just, you know. Now I'm going to guess that they actually made some kind of alphabet and they actually have a language, because I know with I forget what, I think with Jabba, they had a with Huttese, they had a linguist from, I think, SoCal come in and create the Huttese language with them. That, and I think Ewoks too. So they actually had someone, you know, who's a doctor of language come in and say, here you go, here's how this language of this big fat slug would be. I mean, not like that, but they made sense of it so that it's not just gibberish. Like, and one of the best.
Funny that you bring that up, and I'm going to try and keep this really short because it can go off into a long, different rail track going a whole other different ways. Yesterday, as I was sitting here in between live chats for Rebel Scum and whatever else was going on, my playlist going, I jumped in the Google machine and was looking at different Star Wars languages because I wanted to try to find parts of the Arabic alphabet that included numbers and what their different characters was. And I ended up coming across many other different languages, including ones that were written for Phantom Menace that was from Naboo, Nabooian kind of font. And there's also one in binary that we know what droids like R2 speak. There's a written kind of character language for that. So yeah, if they went out of their way to create stuff for Arabesh and them other ones that I found yesterday, like you just said, even if it's made up looking like gibberish, yeah, there's stuff in them other books. There's just like you said. Who wouldn't want a set of Jedi text sitting on a shelf in their living room somewhere? Surely would want that.
Ian, what do you got to say about this? You turned your microphone on, so I figured you had something to.
Oh, well, they did have a similar book. I posted it in the YouTube chat. It was the Jedi Path, and it was a cool book. I think you can still get it, and it comes in its little like case, and you press a button, and it rises up out of the case. And it's got a bunch of like little tokens and tchotchkes inside, and so that's kind of like the closest thing I could think of that's like anything like this.
Yeah, they have that. They have the Sith one, and that's like the deluxe version, because they have you can just buy that book along with a set of the Sith, and there's 1 or 2 other books I think in there too. There's a Bounty Hunter one, and I think a 4th one at least that come in the set, and that's like if you buy it right now, I think it's like $50 or $60. But you can buy the one that Ian's talking about. But it's the same price for each book then. Because it comes with the pop-up thing, and the Sith one comes with like a holocron.
Yeah, I always wanted to get the Sith one. I have the Jedi one. I don't have the Sith one. Do you guys have it?
No, I don't.
I do not.
Not yet.
I have one that I picked up recently, but it's still in the box.
Oh.
Let me go check and see which one that is. But it's a similar.
Well,
It's like
I know what I'll be doing with my afternoon playlist when it's going. I was just, like I said yesterday, I was looking up different random language things and ended up finding out a bunch of different things that I weren't expecting to. And then I dove into wanting to be looking for if anybody was making props or replicas of galactic standard credits or imperial credits, and there's a bunch to be found. So now I'm thinking, since Lucasfilm didn't go to make different copies of these to put out for fans to buy, I'm wondering what might be found on Etsy or other places, because somebody is recreating these to sell for us.
And then here's this is the Smuggler's Guide. So this is the deluxe. Right. It's still in the box. Here's the deluxe one. It comes with this little pop-up case or whatever it is. I think it's similar to Ian's. Then it has all these extra ancillary materials, I believe. But yeah, this isn't open yet, obviously. But you can get like the book, like there. It's the Smuggler's Guide. You can buy like a pack where it's like the Smuggler's Guide, the Jedi one, the Sith one, and I think it's Bounty Hunter, or buy them separately like this. And of course, I would probably buy them separately because, I mean, I already got that one. So we'll see, whatever you can find on eBay and whatever you can find on the used book sale. I mean, that I don't even know where that came from. That could have came from one of my used Goodwill book places that I get off of Amazon, and it was new, but it was half the price because somebody left it on at Goodwill instead of, me having to pay actual full price for a new one. But yeah, so there we go with that.
And you had a spot for it in your collection.
Yeah, and I got to but see, now you get that. Now I need the other 3, and then. Do I open that up and go through it, or do I wait until I get the other 3 and then have them in the collection, and then I'll open them up all together? I think that's going to be the plan now. Come on, stimulus check. I'm still working. Come on, stimulus check.
All right.
How do you know? How do you make Republicans into socialists? Tell them to give them $1,200 when they're laid off. All right, so here we go. We got some gun action going on here.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure where they intended or thought this might go in the story.
I made that joke and 3 people dropped out of the live stream.
Wait, aren't you a Republican?
I am.
No politics.
That doesn't mean there's politics all in Star Wars. That doesn't mean I agree with half the shit these jackasses are doing.
No, exactly.
I didn't imply that. Yeah, those look interesting. Those look like something that might have been on Crate or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
So this one up here, here.
Those guns up there in the upper left look like the gun turrets on the Tantive 4.
Yeah, the belly turret.
Top and the bottom. Yeah.
It said Hammerhead Guns, #1 by Savage. And then you have this one over here. Trying to get to focus
a little bit. Ground-based gun. Most of the other ones are ground-based artillery.
Guess I'll do that. That's going to be easier. Rebel Artillery and Rebel Artillery Gun Final Pass. These are all by Savage. So we got a little R2-D2 action going on over there too. Oh, and up there, but he's small. I missed him. But yeah, so they drew a couple different guns, and there's the blueprints for them. And giving you comparison, that's how big they are compared to C-3PO. Right there. Okay, and then we have over here. Not sure what we have here.
Yeah, no, I can't make that up. I can see it, but I ain't
It's
sure
all right. Well,
what
it's a sabotage device, and this one's a dead drop box, and this one is a state. It's a sabotage device, and this one's another sabotage. Oh, where are we? This one's another sabotage device, and we have here piston coil damper, blue shell static viaduct, and variable frequency wave capacitor.
they look like things that was intended to be found on a workbench of sorts. I'm guessing.
I mean, that looks somebody, that looks like somebody at an ice cream maker. We're just gonna run around with it. Stuff looks like blenders going on. It's if you showed me those, I'd be like new Star Wars blenders. I guess I don't know. But anyway,
That's for the blue milk.
Could be.
the okay, are we back now?
Yep, it was. You were a little bit of a Cylon there for a bit.
Okay.
All
Oh, good.
now.
You didn't hear what I said about you then. Good. Okay, over here we had you heard me finish. This is just the MacGuffin version 11. This is the dead drop box with hold card number 3. The dead drop box was made at a point in the script development when the Resistance had to secretly pass information or message in a capsule left floating in space. Here we have MacGuffin version 20, MacGuffin Elements version 22, and up here, this big one, once again, is a MacGuffin version 21. In early drafts, the MacGuffin was the kill switch for all droid tech, constructed over many generations by an empire-hating alien race. So Jamie and I spent many weeks playing with ideas, both in 2D and with kit bashing, found physical elements. And that was Savage. And down here we have probably 8 months ago, Rick Carter said to me that the MacGuffin is going to be the bane of your existence. And here we are. So we went from the MacGuffin, for which we probably did 20 or 30 mock-up designs, to the Codex. And the Codex, it became something else. And then eventually we hit on the Wayfinder, Wilkinson. So there you go. Whatever that means for us.
I'm wondering if the dead drop box or any of these other sorts of things was started out what Bulio ended up being in the way of passing on that message. Like you said, the dead drop box was intended to put information in and then leave it someplace to be picked up later on.
Maybe, and then they combined the dead drop box as him, and then the Kylo cutting off the head of whoever it was going to be.
Still neat though.
Yeah. And make sure you're smashing buttons and subscribing, people, who's ever here and liking and whatever. And if you are watching on Facebook, I got some people watching on Facebook or giving me some hard-ons there. Hearts on there, not hard on there. Anthony, get your mind out of the gutter. Oh wait, no, this isn't the septic tank. This isn't the after-hour septic tank, so I have to behave.
It got there with help.
I got there the other night without any help, so. Yeah, so if you're watching Saturday at midnight, just as long as I can get home from work on time, it's probably going to be about 12:30. I'm thinking just from going from last night. It just depends. I walked out of work and my train was supposed to come at 11:02, and I walked out of work at 11 o'clock, and the train was already above me coming, and I was like, son of a bitch, because I was running to catch it. And it came 2 minutes early, which messed up my entire night. So then once I catch the next train, which is 15 minutes later, I got to the station to catch my other train, and I walked down the stairs and the doors were just closing. So I just missed that one. So I had to sit there and wait another 20 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes if you're lucky.
Yeah, well, it was still early. It was only 11:30. So yeah, depending on right now in New York City, the trains that usually run every like 6 minutes or 10 minutes, and I'm back now. Are running every half hour or 45 minutes or an hour. So you got people sitting there waiting for trains because they're considered essential employees, but there's no social distancing when you got 50 people that need to get on or 100 people that need to get on a train.
No, they're doing what needs to be done. Get it done.
Like my brother said, well, they're just making it more difficult. No, it's fucking impossible, dude. Like you can't put, you should have 10 people on a train at most, and you have to put 50 on there because you're running them every hour instead of every 6 minutes. Well, you can't stand far away from people. And, you want me to take a cab every day, $20 back and from, that's $40. That adds up at the end of the week. I'm not working on Wall Street making $1 million a year. I can't afford, a cab ride back and forth all the time. And the bus is just the same. Buses aren't running right either. So it's like you want us to social distance, but because I understand that the bus drivers and the subway drivers or train conductors or whatever the hell they are sick and out of work. You're missing 2,000 of them, but you can't ask us to social distance and put 50 of us on one train because it doesn't work that way. But anyways, to get back to technology,
folks are going to be as safe as they can and just plow on through it and do what you got to do.
And the World Health Organization just came out today or last night and said that if you are asymptomatic, there is no reason for you to be wearing a mask right now because of the mask shortage that is global. It is imperative or more important for people that are symptomatic or taking care of people that are or healthcare people or whatever to be wearing masks. So me, who's asymptomatic, even though I'm going out in public, I shouldn't be wearing a mask because people need them more than I do. And then once I'm taking care of people that are, or I'm showing symptoms, I should be wearing it. But that's just my little thing for today. But anyways, let's go back to no politics, no whatever. It's Star Wars. There's always politics. Shut up. Okay, so here we go. We got some kind of contraption right there. Oh, you're not. That's not. All right, and then okay, we got.
What is that? A barbecue?
That's what I thought at first, but I don't think it is. Looks. Yeah, we'll find out shortly. And
it's a lunch
there
box.
you go. I mean, they're looking to be more of early wayfinders or something, something like that. More of the lockbox things, but that alien creature getting barbecued in front, kind of, I'm not really sure, but we'll see here. So over here we have Sith scrolls. The scrolls were another prop that cropped up before we fully knew their purpose in the script. We worked heavily with the graphics department developing ideas for how the Sith legacy and records have been handed down from generations to generations. And speaking of generations to generations, I'm going to go back to what I just said about the mask thing or whatever. Whoever watches in the future is going to be like, oh my God, he was so right. Or, oh my God, what a fucking idiot he was for saying that. Because, those are the two things. So it's either, and they're showing people that have recovered from this. Some of them are showing such low levels of antibodies that they won't be able to fight the virus if they come in contact with it again. So they're thinking that it's going to be possible to recatch this depending on the person, which brings a whole new level to it.
Yeah, not good news.
But anyways, get back to the codex. This is this guy up here. I'm not sure. We're going to find out what the thing is. JJ wanted to experiment with forms of storage for the kill switch data card. And he had the idea that over time the data card might perish, and the only known way to preserve it would be inside of an alien bug. Okay, so yeah, that is the alien bug. And I don't even know what that means. Do they put the data card inside the alien bug to preserve it, or is the bug the brain of it, the data card, and that's what we have for it?
That
That's
sounds
kind
like more of an idea. That the second part you said possibly, but they didn't end up using it at all.
no. Then we have over here Vader helmet storage box. Oh, okay. Oh, that you can
Ah,
see,
yeah,
you can see that. Yeah,
yep,
that's. Oh,
yep.
I didn't really look at it that well. I'm looking at the picture regular, so it's kind of far away from where I would regularly be reading it or the book or whatever, and trying to figure. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Vader helmet storage box number 1. The White Room was influenced by brutalist architecture, and we wanted to follow that through. Line into the strong box clean, sharp lines and planes that would then contrast with the soft melted black helmet. Savage. And then you have from Wilkinson, sometimes you shoot yourself in the foot. The idea was that it opens up, then down. It's a very cool movement, but the problem was trying to get the direction of motion open and down. And the same time, we ended up having to do it on 2 paths. There was a lot of motorists in there, a lot of motors in there, but it was one of those things where the morning of shooting, we're still trying to speed it up and slow it down. The box was going to be white, placed in a white environment, but the color felt too content. Stark black with an edge line made to feel like it didn't belong in the room as much.
Yeah, looking at it, the operation of it, when you said there were a lot of motors in there. I could see what they were meaning about how it would open. It would unlock, and then the 2 halves would kind of pop up and then slide down their respective tracks to the right and the left. That would have been neat to see. And what did they end up turning it into? It was just like a drawer of sorts.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to finish up this section in time. I'm not talking that much.
It's a little like the box from Hellraiser series, a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, so I just had an idea. So Earl Farm Boy, I got somebody lined up for Monday. I got 3 people lined up for Monday. Hopefully they all make it. The following Monday, I have another one of our friends lined up who I think you know because I found him through you, who does a lot of YouTube. And he belongs to a group that doesn't exist.
Group that don't exist.
The Gray Jedi.
Oh, GA.
No. Lungo.
Yeah, that's his first name. He didn't. He goes by his initials. I don't know his actual name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, GA Lungo.
Well, yeah, that's not his last name, but it's his shortened version of it. He's got. Anyways, I got him coming on the following week, and then I got a couple of our friends that I messaged the other day about coming on the 27th, and then I realized that the following Monday is the 4th. And I just thought right now what I should do for the 4th is get a mask and maybe 2 and some gloves and go over to Ian's house because we've been talking about me going through his closet and his toys and going through there. And then I just thought of this. So either talking about with Ian and either doing a live stream from there or recording it and then putting it up, and then I'll have to fix it for the audio because audio doesn't play.
I don't think we can go live while I'm actually getting the stuff out of the closet, but once we have the collection all together, then we could do something maybe.
I was gonna say I could come over there and we could pull it out and then do it and do the stream from there, and then get some of our collecting friends on to talk about it. But I'll talk that was just my idea that just popped in my head. I get some crazy thoughts that happen, but whatever.
All right, we'll talk.
Yeah. So that's the May 4th show possibly, and then we'll get some of our collector friends on there while we're doing it live to see what they have to say. But yeah, that's my idea. So you're my booker. So we're working now. We're into possibly the 27th and possibly Ian on the 4th, and then we got to work on the beginning of May. But it all depends on how long this thing goes on for, because some of the people.
Some of the people. Monday is 3 friends and you on.
Yep, we're talking about Galaxy's Edge.
Alrighty.
It's going to be friends that have been to Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, nice. That'll be a fun one.
So, two of them that live there, and one of them that went to go visit. So here, I'll do this with this guy.
Oh,
All right.
Wayfinders and daggers.
These are the this is the Goonie shit. The Goonie daggers.
Just wondering about the paramedical looking things up there in the upper left on that page. It looks similar to a wayfinder. I ain't sure.
So let's see right here. I'll get that. We have Wayfinder number 4 from Savage. The Wayfinder is now almost like a position finder in a submarine. You've got maps on the outside and the inside, and there are powders and a pump. Basically, there's a movement of gold and silver powders in the dark liquid when it's top lit. Then feel something mysterious is happening, and you see this beacon flashing through it. We're going to try and make it very surgical, almost medical. It's going to be like you could put anything into the Wayfinder, and it would be able to read the information. We're not saying it's a holocron, but it's has the language of one. It's in the same family, and it's holding information. Then over here we have Sith Knife, sketch number 10. The dagger was a real chicken and egg design, as we had to get the design locked off and built before shooting, obviously. But this situation, the design and the blade had to interact and line up with a matte shot that would be fully locked off until well into post-production. To the end, the design was slowly achieved through 2D concepts, 3D prop makers, and regular meetings with JJ, VFX, and the art department. That was from Savage. Wilkinson talks about these sketches over here now. And that was them, that's Ray holding it up. Well, I don't think Ray's is that hairy. But if she is, if Daisy Ridley is, then okay, you got to take the good with the bad, or if maybe that's what you're into. I don't know. So I'll just stop talking now. The Sith sketch 16. There's one thing on the dagger that catches Ray's eye. She pulls it out, and then it shows the way into the vault. There were probably 20, 30 changes to the design to get it to the final place. That Sith writing is what C-3PO translated, but can't tell anyone. Wilkinson. And then down here we have the Dark Wayfinder version 2. The first idea was that the Wayfinder was going to be a crystal, with the movement in the crystal acting as a directional arrow. It had on one piece of leather and has almost had its own life force. We even illustrated that in the Jedi scriptures, which we shot, and right at the last moment, JJ realized that it wasn't the right decision.
Oh, they did have something in the visual dictionary very similar to that, I remember. I'm going to have to bring a damn book over here when we keep going through this. But carry on.
All right. Mr. Stormtrooper. Ian, our friend Rural Farm Boy was a stormtrooper in the 501st.
Yeah, he used to be
previously
in Korea.
Okay, so we're gonna. What the hell is my phone going crazy? I got all these people bothering me. Okay, so this one is.
That's a Jet Trooper blaster.
It sure is, and then this one over here is another.
No, it's another. That's all right. That's a bigger. Oh,
it's a Jet Trooper Heavy Blaster.
Yeah.
And then we have a black. What does that say? Blaster. Red Trooper Blaster Pistol. This one
Something
Trying to
else
get
a
without
Sith Trooper would be using.
Trying to get without a glare for you so you can. Well, it is what it is, fellas. This is an Elite Trooper heavy blaster rifle. Holy shit! What's that? That's like my gun right there. That I would have. That's a Jet Trooper heavy blaster.
And they ended up going with the top
Self.
design.
It's a self-targeting piston. I can't read this with my glasses on. Hang on. I gotta take my glasses off to read.
Self-targeting proton
Torpedoes can navigate around objects to hit their targets.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, it's easier to read when I put it on camera up there and it's big. Hang on a second now. I gotta. Oh God, I'm falling apart here. Help me, help me. Yeah, you can see my mess of Star Wars notebooks, stuff that I have for notes and stuff. And then down at the bottom there, I got the Zen of R2D2 and something that I don't collect. And yeah, so anyways, to get back to this. Alrighty then. Okay, this is a Jet Trooper grenade launcher by Savage. Are all these by Savage? These are all by Savage, I believe. So this one that we saw up here is the Jet Trooper grenade launcher. This is a Jet Trooper grenade launcher also. Blaster pistol version, number 2. Elite Trooper Heavy Blaster version 2. The Elite Trooper Blaster gave us a chance to rethink Stormtrooper weapons and move the design as far forward from the Force Awakens blaster as they had been from the original trilogy blasters. As with many weapon designs, this was one design that was built up and back and forth between 2D concepts and 3D prop makers, bouncing the design between us until it was approved by JJ. And this is just a Jet Trooper Heavy Blaster and an Elite Trooper rifle version. Then we get into some of the... This, I don't really think I need a close-up of these. They're just... Maybe
no,
that
I can
one.
see pretty good.
That one a little bit. A little bit different on the jetpacks, but just slightly different design. Oh, maybe right there. All right, so up here we have Guard Weapon version 1. They look like a mix between Praetorian Guards, and that looks like the gun we were talking about the other day. That looks like it folds out into a bipod. With the
heavy repeating blaster, yeah, with the bipod that Patrick was talking about.
Yeah. That came with the San Diego Comic-Con Sith Trooper.
Yeah.
See, that's why I said about the books. We're such idiots. I bought 4 different versions of a Sith Trooper who's not even in the fucking movie. He's in there for 10 seconds. Like, seriously.
Well,
but they look cool.
About it, there's many a thing that ends up in damn near every one of the films for mere seconds. And yeah, they make a toy or
well, I mean, you take Zuvio. You take Zuvio, who wasn't even in the movie, but he might be in the background of other things. It's not confirmed. But they make a character out of him. But they made one of them. That was it. The Sith Trooper, they were pumping those bad boys out in different colors and San Diego Comic-Con and carbonized and regular ones. I think they have at least 3 of them, I think. And I have all 3 because, why wouldn't I? That's what you do. I'm not like some people that have like 3 and 4 of each one. I just buy one of each until I am in a place where I can take them out and box them up. That way you don't lose their weapons with the right ones. Or, someday when I have kids, those are some great toys for them to play with. I'll let them play with that shit, at least they'll get some enjoyment out of it.
Absolutely.
Because there's so many of them out now and everybody's saving them. They're not going to be worth any money for, it's not like I said, oh, in 1980, I'm going to save a bunch of these for my kids' retirement, and sell them for $3,000 or $4,000 each because they're mint carded.
You'd have had a fun time. You'd have had a fun time in last night's Rebel Scum 7 p.m. chat. Me and a couple of the girls ended up getting into pretty long conversation that we pretty much took over the live chat from whatever they were talking about on video concerning Black Series figures and what's able to be found and what was the standard ones and the carbonized ones. You would have had a lot of fun with that because there was some pretty fun talk.
I know who you're talking about, but tell them to come on Saturday night. I mean, it's not really. It's just kind of a free for all. It's not really set up for Star Wars. It's just kind of whatever you want to talk about. But tell them to come in Saturday night if they want to, or if they want something a little bit more timid. Monday night at the Boxer Tank, and we'll do all after we do. Because there's some stuff I need to get from Galaxy's Edge, or they don't have it at Galaxy's Edge because Galaxy's Edge is all theme-based stuff. But there's a Funko Pop or two I need to get from there, and there's a bunch of Black Series that they have in like packs. They have in like 4-packs or 6-packs, and I can get them, but I don't want to pay the extra money when I can just wait. I think like for the 4-pack it's $60. But there's a guy that regularly goes to Disney and buys them, and that's how he makes his money. And he charges an extra like $30. Well, if you're selling a couple each day, it's $100 a day he's making just going to Disney World or going to Disneyland, wherever he's going.
Them's the exclusives ones that's only there to the park that you can't find nowhere else except for maybe that fella, like you said. All right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, you can find them on eBay, but they're $100, $150. This guy only charges an extra like $30 or whatever it is. And he has an unlimited supply because he just keeps going back and buying them. Or whatever it is, you send him the money, and it's like if you live there and you're going to go there anyways, it's just like running to the store. You just somebody sends you a Venmo or PayPal or whatever, $100 or $80 or whatever he's charging. I think it's 80 plus shipping and handling, so it ends up being like probably $100. But I'm waiting until August when I go there because I still think it's going to happen. But anyways, let's get back to the book. Stop sidetracking me. Damn it. All right, so here we have Guard Weapon Version 1. Way back in episode 7, JJ was looking at our weapons the wrong way around, and he liked weapons at the wrong way round, and he liked it. You look at it coming out of the escape now, and you really don't know whether it's blade or blast. Hang on, I gotta. Where was I? You don't know if it's blade or blaster. And the guards are kind of the Roman standard of their legions. I don't know how much of the fight they're going to be in or how much of the interaction they're going to have, but the idea is that these are ceremonial weapons. So you've got a contemporary blaster, but then it also has the blade. So it's almost a corruption between the two different weapons. Wilkinson. And then right over here, we have the First Order Jetpack number 3 by Savage. And down here is the by Savage Close Combat Weapon number 1. When we spoke to JJ a long time ago, he wanted the end scene to have these really elite close combat weapons, almost more for crowd control. We've got 3 versions, a big claw and small claw, giving them an asymmetrical crab look. When you've got batons and pop out, almost like a pulse baton. And when we've got these blade batons as well, so it's sophisticated weaponry against very primitive technology.
Hey, there's your unnamed weapon in your Sith Trooper that you were looking at the other day. That you just described it.
Yep, but it doesn't have a name.
No, don't.
But when we were looking through the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Sith Trooper box, I didn't open it up, but I pulled it apart and pulled the wings out or whatever you want to call it, and That was the one we were talking about. And I said, hopefully we find out something in this book. And looks like we're going to be done just on time for you to go have lunch, Anthony. All right. So we have some. Oh, these are cool.
Oh.
Crazy concept. All right, we're looking at these. I had some guy on Facebook message me and told me, one of your videos, I just watched it, and the people on there don't know anything about Star Wars. They don't know nothing about canon, blah, blah, blah. You were talking about Darth Maul coming back, and Darth Maul died, and this takes place 5 years after Jedi and Mandalorian. I was like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about, but you know,
sounds like he didn't either.
I mean, well, no, he knew facts, but it's like, you know, my first thing was everything's canon until it's not. Well, Maul's dead. I was like, yeah, Maul also died before, and you know, Palpatine died 40 years ago, and you know, this and that and everything. And he was just like, oh, well, and I was like, come on, talk with us then. Come in the Bacta tank. And everything he said, I was like, listen, you know, I have my friends know a lot of. He's like, they don't know anything. I was like, no, my friends know a lot about Star Wars. I was like, I have interviewed, and my friends have interviewed and talked with, and are friends with actors and authors. And you know, some of them make their living on Star Wars. I was like, so you know, and I just broke it down for him, and he's like, well, I mean, I guess that's your opinion then. And I was like, come on the Bacta tank and talk to us then. Like, don't start yelling at me about people not knowing anything when everything you just said. He's like, watch this video. I was like, I don't need to watch the video. I know it's the video where Rebels, was it Twin Sons, where Kenobi kills Maul and he dies in his arms. And I was like, listen, and I was like, you know, the reason that Maul was defeated so easily, what people were pissed off about and don't understand, is that he used the exact same moves that he used previously. That's why Obi-Wan knew what it was, you know, goaded him into doing it, not goaded like greatest of all time. Well, Obi-Wan might be the greatest of all time. We don't know that. But anyways, you know, goaded him into, you know, attacking him the same way. So he was able to defeat him in 3 seconds and, you know, 3 moves. You know, the different lightsaber, the 7 different lightsaber fighting techniques, and you know, the philosophy behind why it happened and how it happened, and going back into this and that. And like, after I just sat there and broke it all down to him, he's like, well, I guess you're right. And I'm like, I don't know why you came off all fucking, you don't know anything and this and that. It's like, okay, buddy, but maybe he'll come out
on your Facebook.
No, he sent me a private message about it.
Oh,
I almost was told to fuck off, but then I was like, no, I'm going to talk to him and see what he has to say. Oh, this is on Facebook. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching, which you're probably not, but maybe. So no profanity anymore.
Yeah, he's welcome to come in the Bacta tank and give his opinion. He blatantly stated out you were telling yours. Well, he should also be able to step up and say, this is mine, without saying his is more like a fact when it's just an opinion.
Yep. No, that's what I did. I said, seriously, come on the Bacta tank and talk to us about it, because you know, I want to hear what you have to say, and we can, you know, typing back and forth with someone when they're angry and then they're pissing you off doesn't really do any good. So I was like, come on and talk to us. And I mean, I talked to him back and forth, probably like, you know, 10 messages that are full screen pages going back and forth. I was like, seriously, come on the Bacta tank sometime and we will talk about it, because I can guarantee you the people that come on there know about Star Wars. We're nerds. We sit there and talk about Star Wars with each other instead of doing, you know, other things, which whatever it is.
He sounds like just as much of a nerd as we are. Just accept that your opinion is just yours and say that. And then all arguments cease right there. And you say, it's just my opinion. And okay, we can get along.
And if you're watching this, buddy, because you do follow me on YouTube, that's how you saw the video. Come on the Bacta tank and we'll talk about it, dude. It's, you know,
absolutely.
All you gotta do is just you can have whatever opinion you want. Just be respectful and share it. And
we disagree in there enough, and we still manage to get along with one another.
Oh, me and Rural Farm Boy usually argue for a half hour each show about whether when episode 10 is going to happen and whether it's still a continuation of the saga.
And we still get together every week and keep talking.
Yeah.
Add one more fella in there. Come on in.
So, okay, here we go. Up here we have, I don't know where it is. Oh, pistol crossbow. JJ requested a more traditional pistol-shaped crossbow. The obvious place for us was was to go with this was a weapon along the lines of a pistol that we had designed for the year before on Solo, a Star Wars story, Mother of Pearl handle, all in. And all, I'm sorry, I'm making up words here. We have Lando's communicator. I believe the RISC-COM is entirely based on Empire Strikes Back legacy version. Jamie proposed we keep it as close to the original as possible.
Nice.
Over here, we have a quote from Wilkinson. Those are both from Savage. Then we have a quote from Wilkinson. We just put a little bit of history into our weathering. It's as if the Solo one was his pistol version, and this was a crossbow version. We would have to destroy the Solo hero pistol completely to turn it into the crossbow because of all the tech and everything we would be adding. It was just easier to rebuild. Then we have down here, this one over here. That is the inscription says Baron Lando Calrissian, obviously was based shaped of a cloud city. It was one of those ideas that I don't think JJ would necessarily go for, but he loved it. And then the wrist cross.
That's the topper on Lando's walking stick. All right. Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the masked alley crossbow. It is, we read, alley wrist crossbow number 1. We read that the alley would be operating in the shadows and would possibly need to conceal his crossbow. So Jamie and I, so Jamie and I considered having a wrist-mounted weapon on a cuff similar to Boba Fett's. That was Savage again. And here we go with a little bit more weaponry. And this is going to be the last page. No, you weren't in that. Don't worry. Ian's going to say hi in a minute.
Those look like Zori's blaster pistol.
Yeah.
Yep, these are Zori pistol blasters. Grappling hook over here.
Oh,
a little bit.
Janus bow. Okay.
Oh, and dude, that I talked to last night, if you are watching this, when I was swearing, I wasn't being aggressive or mean. That's just how I talk. So, yeah, don't take that as like confrontational shit.
No,
Spice
we
Blaster.
Derogatory.
Yeah,
Okay.
I forget. I put along a string of swear words for somebody the other day that was pretty good, and people were laughing. I was like, "That's how I treat my friends." What are you talking about? Could you imagine if I didn't like you? It was on the last Boxer Tank too, I think.
It's true. It's true.
All of it. Spice Runner Blaster number 1 right up here. Then we have the Zori Pistol Blaster number 1. The design for Zori's pistol actually came from the custom department, who at the point here had been concepting the character and had a good feel for what she would require from her blaster. We took a quick pass based on their design to bring it more into the classics. Star Wars look, grapples all. Star Wars look, greeples and all. Greeblies.
Yeah, little bits and pieces that you add to a prop to kind of dress it up and make it look more Star Warsy, I guess you would say.
Dale, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, Dale Erdman. Morning, buddy. Well, late afternoon for him. No.
No morning. He's in Utah, so he's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. What time is it? It's almost 12 o'clock. So yeah,
he's 3 hours behind us. So
it messes me up with daylight saving. Anyways, we got. We'll finish this off real quick. Wilkinson. It was really important that the pistol literally matched the costume, right down to the finishes. Normally, blasters in Star Wars are big and bulky and quite undesigned. This is one of those opportunities where you can use nice soft lines, almost like a piece of jewelry, like a dueling pistol, where somebody handmade them for you. We wanted to keep it really slender, so we had to hand sculpt all this. So, all right. So we had to hand sculpt all of this. So from the front, the lines are going to look like an hourglass.
Oh, I can see that. Oh, yeah.
And then the last one right here, Spice Runner sidearm. Going back to the grappling hooks here, we have, rather than a single bow, we made it a cross between a bowcaster and a traditional longbow. It started off as a really long bow, and obviously being on horseback and becoming one of the main character's props, we made them smaller and smaller so they were more durable. We put a barrel in the middle so it became more than just an arrow, so you have to penetrate the armor of a stormtrooper. How do you penetrate the armor of a stormtrooper? You feed it through a fusion rod or something so it has a little bit more power. We've made the bow double-sided so you can hold it left or right-handed. Aren't they all double-sided?
No, they're not. They're one or t'other. I used to shoot a little bit of archery. No, they're one or t'other. And yeah, I used a long recurve bow.
Okay. Anyways, see, I learned a lot today. I learned words I didn't know about props and shit, and then they were part of a stormtrooper squad. Beat it, defected.
Yeah.
Defected. So they are little elements over that are left over. It's you can tell it's time to go. I can't read anymore. They were part of a stormtrooper squad that defected. So they're little elements of that left over and what they are still using. They made a quill out of one of the arm pieces of a stormtrooper at one point. The arrows had the equivalent to directional feathers on the end, but I felt like there was so much going on, we just kept it simple.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think this is going to be the last page for us here. Now, see, this is some neat shit. This is what we should have pictures for, or whatever. Or like I was saying, have it where, like, I'm getting a poster book. I'm not sure what the poster book is, but it's like 12 or 16 posters, and I won't take them out. I'll leave them in there. If I could afford a second one, I'd get that, but they're old posters or concept art posters. But like this right here.
Oh my.
That is from your Aki Aki Festival.
Yeah, the Festival of the Ancestors.
Which happens every 42 years, even though it's either the visual dictionary or the book says it happens every 2 years. That's a misprint in there. And that is the Festival Musicians Group.
So they intended to attempt to do some live on-site music, which didn't seem to pan out, but that's neat.
And yeah, so the I mean, that's obviously a little Easter egg, or I'm assuming it's an Easter egg. It happens every 42 years. Well, that's start to finish of what they're claiming to be the finish of this saga right now, until they decide they want to make another $1 billion on a movie. And then we have Rey, who was force impregnated by Kylo Ren as he was dying. The kids dig up the lightsabers that they find in the front yard when they're about 15 or 16, and maybe a little bit younger too. That's when their training starts. Who knows? We'll find out, because that would be, we'll see. Anyways, but we'll talk about this in another 5 or 6 years when the plans come out for it. I'm figuring it's going to happen in 2028 is when the movie will come out.
Heard it here first.
Well, yeah, because I mean, let's face it. I like John Boyega as an actor, especially as Finn. I like Daisy Ridley as an actress, especially as Rey. But the majority of the movies they've been in have not done well, and I was not a big fan of their performances. But I mean, then again, I forget what the John Boyega one where he was in with the giant robots taking over the world. Or no, Pacific Rim. Not taking over the world, but having to fight the monsters or whatever. I mean, that's a crap movie. I mean, that's like saying Anakin Skywalker is a bad actor because of that. It's like, Hayden Christensen is a bad actor because of what the performance you see him in and the Star Wars movies. Well, no, George Lucas just can't direct actors. He got lucky with the original trilogy, and just by saying, faster, more intense, they were able to do it. But that's really not a good direction to give everybody when they're trying to do love scenes or hit on a girl or bless you, whoever that was. But yeah, so that's where we're going to leave off for today. And you're going to be a couple minutes late, but you can go over to Rebel Scum podcast, and are they live right now?
They should be having a lunch stream right now.
I know they're having a lunch stream, but I know they're having a lunch stream.
I'm still watching our chat room, so I have not jumped over there yet.
Okay. Well, yeah, so this is where we are, and then this is our next one that we have. The Creature and Droid Effects Department.
Oh, more fun stuff to come. Love this kind of stuff.
Just a quick little look. We got some Maz Kanata. We got some other droids. We got that thing. We got some Kylo. There's a nice picture. We got a lot of more loose concept art. A lot of loose concept art. This one's probably going to be a two-parter. Well, it depends on how fast they go. There's not a lot of writing, but here, this is what Ian likes.
All the concept designs for Dio. Yeah, there was a lot that went on there. Lot.
Well, he was talking about the sketchbook, and they don't make the sketchbook anymore, as far as I know, because they just put it in the art of book. Now I don't have. Ian has the original art of books, I believe. Which
Empire and Jedi.
Okay, and we were talking about the other day. Those go for a pretty penny right now for books. I mean, used they're $60, I think, somewhere around there, maybe a little cheaper. But that's still not in good condition. If I'm gonna get an art book, I'm gonna spend more money on it because I don't want people I don't want drawings on the art book and notes in the art book on what people thought about it, because I want to be able to look at the art and enjoy the art, not their drawings or whatever dictation they made about it. Other books aren't really that big of a deal, but when it comes to the art books, I think that's something that's kind of important. I'd spend a little bit more money on those to get them. And then Ian just sent me a message and told me in his will he's going to leave me all of his Star Wars stuff. So that's nice. That was he used the Force to do that. That wasn't it. When I said he sent me a message, it was through that's what my brain processed. I'm talking to him. So all right, we're gonna cut this short, and I don't know what else we'll be doing for the rest of the week with this book. I'm working. What's today? Thursday.
Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday?
Yep. All day. Or what's left of it.
Oh, yeah, it is Wednesday. Well, I'm working Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. I'm going to try and get at least one more of these in this week and get maybe some Fallen Order so I can finish that game. But Saturday is the TooMedToo's Septic Tank. Midnight, 12:30ish Eastern Standard Time. Depending on when and I just got out again. All right, so I don't know if you heard me or not, but it's going to be when I get home from work. It's going to be about midnight when I get home. So depending on, it could be a little bit later because it's a Saturday night with the trains, or I could just say fuck it and take a cab home because I don't feel like waiting 2 hours to get home or whatever it ends up being. But yeah, somewhere around 12:30 probably. Maybe I'm hoping that it doesn't start any later than that, but. Yeah, it's kind of a free-for-all, and we're just going to be some friends sitting around talking about whatever, and not necessarily Star Wars-based, like most of these conversations
start off or are supposed to be. It's just going to be whatever we feel like talking about, whatever's going on. So if you've watched the other shows, it's the late night or after hours, because after we stop talking about Star Wars, or sometimes we're still talking about Star Wars, but it just goes into the gutter real quick.
Oh yeah, it's just like a current, one current in the ocean. It just goes where it goes, every which way, wherever it goes. Yeah,
Well,
I'm not much of a late nighter, but I'm gonna make some kind of goddamn exception for this, because with nothing else going on, no, I want to sit and talk with our friends for sure. I don't care. I don't give a good goddamn what time of day it is. I want to sit with our friends and carry on something for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for stopping by. In the chat, it was great to have you in here. Thank you for getting tanked with me, Rural Farm Boy, and Ian.
Thanks for having us.
And sometime, I don't know. We'll try and squeeze another one in. It all depends on life and everything. I'm working short shifts and late this week, so I can, I wish they were short shifts early so I could get out of the way and then have the rest of the day to do things. But, it is what it is. I still have a job, so gotta do what I can. Maybe if the government starts handing out $600 extra for unemployment, I might get fired. Just so I can collect unemployment, get that extra $600, get that $1,200. I'll be good for a couple months. And then
I just got mine today. It's the extra $600. Well, it's $540 after taxes. So yeah.
All right.
Get fired. No, don't get fired.
Well, all right. Yeah, Danielle really wants me to stop working. But I won't get unemployment. I won't get the extra money because I have a job. So I can't, even if I decide to social distance and not go to work, I still won't get it because I have a job. I just take a leave of absence, so I won't be able to get it then. But yeah. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, everybody, and thanks for watching this later. Like, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do, become a patron, follow me on everything that is followable. With that, I say good day. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you, friends.